All right, ready?
Ready.
See it. It's recording.
Good call. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the rehearsal podcast for the week of April 14. We are 321 Improv Comedy. That's Jeremy there in Oklahoma running all the technical gadgetry.
Boop,
How are
boop,
you?
beep, beep, boop.
Perfect. That is Mike up in New Hampshire. Hello, Mike.
Hello.
And I'm Carl down here in Florida. We take social distancing seriously.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be at least 1,000 miles apart at all times.
We've been doing it for years.
Was it 6 feet or 6 states? I can't remember.
It's one of the most common questions we get. We start off every single show that we do by introducing ourselves and telling everybody where we're from. And the most common question we get immediately after the show, people come out to us and say, "Where are you guys from?" So we just assume that nobody starts listening until we're at least 3 minutes into the show.
Yeah, they're like,
Right.
Once you're funny, then we'll listen.
So, welcome to the podcast. My name is Mike from New Hampshire. Carl's from Florida. Jeremy's from Oklahoma. Here we go. Let's get started now.
All right.
I have big news for you guys. I have been told that next week we will have a special guest, and it will be our manager, Gresham Hill.
Is that smart?
I didn't know that we were
guest.
doing special guests. You invited Gresham to
No, I didn't
be our
invite
special
him.
guest.
No, I didn't invite him.
You didn't?
He informed me that he will be our guest next week.
That checks out. That sounds right. He's been itching to get on the podcast for a long time.
Jeremy has special gifts for the people watching the video version of the podcast that will be released after the audio version. So
Yeah.
if you want to know what Jeremy's shirt says, you're going to have to check it out later on Facebook or YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
next week Gresham will be here hang on just a second. Next week on the rehearsal podcast, Gresham Hill from Gresham Hill Management, based in the entertainment capital of the world, Nashville, Tennessee, will be joining Carl, Jeremy, and Mike. Tune in next week to the rehearsal podcast to find all about Gresham Hill Management.
Did he make you read that?
Yeah, that was Annie. Well, Annie said he doesn't do any of the
he doesn't
work.
do anything.
His people.
I don't like people
Any-
handing me
wow.
things.
Does he have like a
Anything on his
rider or
calendar.
something? Do we need to have like a veggie tray or something for him here?
It's a good question. We might need snacks.
Man.
Oh,
So that's going to be interesting. We've talked about Gresham before on the podcast. He's our manager. He does a great job. He just becomes a little bit demanding at times. Well,
Yeah.
good job. So that's next week. Look forward to that.
All
From
right.
last week, one of the comments that came out of last week's podcast, I don't even know if we mentioned Buffalo Wild Wings last week on the podcast, but we mentioned
Probably
it often.
did, right?
Look at Jeremy perk up at
What?
that news.
what are we talking about?
Somebody said, "I've ordered takeout from Buffalo Wild Wings 3 times this week just since I started listening to the podcast. You guys should get a sponsorship."
Right?
Sounds like is Jeremy sending this?
I've ordered Buffalo Wild Wings 3
Two,
times.
3, 2, 1 improv.
No, you know what? The reason you know it's not Jeremy is they said 3 times this week. That'd be a
Yeah.
slow week for Jeremy.
Slow week,
that's
week.
a bit low.
I mean, we're trying for the sponsorships. We've attempted this before, right?
Pretty sure we've tagged them on Instagram and Facebook.
they've
messaged-
liked a post or two, haven't
They
they?
did like a
And
post. We were like,
it's
we're
not
on our
even-
way.
Yeah, it's not even just Buffalo Wild Wings. We've attempted Chick-fil-A. We give a lot of shout out to Chick-fil-A. We eat at Chick-fil-A all the time when we're on the road. It's our common lunch stop leaving the airport.
It's true.
We have a show. We were supposed to have a show.
This Sunday.
April, is it this month? We were supposed to have one this month.
In a Chick-fil-A.
This coming.
Not in a Chick-fil-A. Jeremy asked me that. When that one hit the schedule, we have a show for Chick-fil-A. He said, "Are we performing in a restaurant?"
Yeah.
In the ball pit.
In the ball pit.
No, it's supposed to be like a big customer appreciation event of some kind, and we're
that's a
going
lot
to
of
perform at it
customer appreciation,
in Mississippi.
not employee.
I think it's for customer.
No, they don't appreciate their employees. Everybody
Oh,
knows
right.
that.
I forgot about that.
I think they appreciate just the customers.
Yeah. No.
Interesting.
Sponsorship.
Anyway.
They appreciate everyone.
That's
guys.
right. I'm sorry. Yes. Chick-fil-A appreciates everybody.
So we have a long-standing attempt at Chick-fil-A. More recently, I feel like we gave a pretty good shout out to Aldi. We mentioned we had
It's
one
true.
whole episode where we talked all about Aldi and the fine work that they're doing through all of this.
That's right.
We're
I
fans
feel like
of Aldi.
Aldi's pretty thrifty. I don't know if they're going to invest in us.
I mean,
That's
but it's a quality
probably
store.
true.
Mike, how often do you go to Aldi?
Nowadays less than normal,
No, I mean,
but
yeah, but not in the,
no. Oh,
back in the-
I mean, It's my
Back in the
grocery
day.
trip. It's at least once a week.
So we're not just making this up.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I've totally been to an Aldi.
So we gave
There you
that
go.
a shot. And I mean, don't even get me started on Buffalo Wild Wings. We're there all the time. We've given shout outs. What was the response that you got when they liked something that you comment? Did you comment on a visit or something?
I think I just tagged them in it and was like, "We're having a great time at Buffalo Wild Wings," or maybe it was when we were yelling at them to bring Blue Moon Barbecue back.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe that, which worked. So I think it's us.
It is
And when
back.
they responded, you immediately assumed, oh, they like us.
I was like, it's literally called a like, right? I mean,
I think it's two different things.
Mm.
All right. Mike has a doppelganger update. We need to give a little bit of background here.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
We're often told that we look like famous people. And
True.
sometimes we even make people guess because some of the answers are somewhat obvious. On a very regular basis, people tell me that I look like Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars.
Yes.
Seen that on the History Channel. He's got his, what's his son's name? Chum Lee or something?
Yeah, that's his son's friend.
I think it's
Oh, there
Chun
you
Li.
Right.
Right.
And Grandpa hangs around.
Yeah.
Apparently you guys are watching the show more than I am. I had to go watch it to see who he was when I started getting all these people telling me
back
that.
in the day.
Oh, Chun Li is a Street Fighter character. That's what I was talking about.
Right. And Jeremy got a doppelganger notice even just last week's podcast.
Right.
Someone
I posted
commented.
the video of last week's podcast. Somebody commented on it. They said, "Oh wow, I didn't know you guys. It's cool. I don't know they said it's cool that you have Chris Pratt on, Mike and Carl."
Yeah, we've got connections.
Don't let word get out that we have a special guest like Chris Pratt because Gresham wants to make sure that he's the first guest.
Right.
Oh, right.
So we don't want any rumors spreading around. And then, so people often look at Mike and they'll come up with random things like Mike is a
Starbucks
barista.
He got a connections pastor at a
connections
church.
pastor. Yeah,
Yep.
I look like a classic connections pastor.
Not like you look like the connections pastor at my church. You just look like a random connections pastor.
Looks like that would be something you do. Yeah. The specific ones honestly depend on how long my hair is and how shaved I am and if I'm wearing glasses or not. But I've gotten everything from like Mr. Bean to
Mr. Bean.
Ben Stiller.
Bradley Cooper a couple times.
Bradley Cooper on a good day.
On a good day.
Not
Mike's like,
many
let's
of
go
those.
with that one.
Yeah, we're going to stick with
has
that.
to be the Starbucks barista.
The Starbucks barista. Well, my friend finally sent me a picture that I think is the most compelling one.
Sorry, podcast listeners. This next part isn't for you.
This is for the video. May I present for your doppelganger enjoyment the YouTube cooking show guy. Bum, ba-da-bum.
We don't know his name.
I don't know. Like, all right. So if you gotta put in, get the hair there. That's right. It's the ears. It's the nose. It's my doppelganger.
It looks like
pretty,
good pizza
pretty
or
close.
whatever it is.
I'm pretty impressed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can see that.
Mostly that picture just makes me hungry. Like making pizza like this.
It's true.
I definitely see the similarity. And that one, that was just random. It would be just YouTube cooking guy.
YouTube cooking show guy.
Right.
That's like when people try to figure out. People think that I look like a guy that's in the Fantastic Four, but they never know his name.
Yes.
Right? Is it who does he play in the Fantastic Four?
The Thing.
The Thing.
Oh, the Thing. And
which also sounds not specific.
His name is Michael Chiklis, I believe,
yes.
Right? But they know that he's in that. They know he's in something else, but they never know his name. So that'll be similar. They'll look at the Mike. You look like, that. What's his name? The YouTube cooking guy.
YouTube cooking show guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fun fact, Michael Chiklis started Chiclets.
Seems unlikely.
You know what we're going to have to do? We're going to bring back that old segment, fact-checking Jeremy.
Fact-checking Jeremy.
Old? You guys still do that to me like every week.
No, that's true. We do.
A lot of times in shows, Jeremy will have to tell us Jeremy will be an expert on some topic. Mike will call in and say, hey, can you tell me about the great hula hoop debate or the catastrophe that happened in 1875? And you'll make a reference to something that was happening in 1875 during the great hula hoop catastrophe. and then we'll go back and fact check it and go, wait a minute, was there actually a steam engine in 1875?
So fact checking Jeremy. Chiclets were introduced in the year 1900. So probably
he's old then.
Yeah. Michael Chiklis is very old.
I'm doubling down.
Assumption.
Chiclets were named after the Aztec word chictli, meaning sticky stuff.
Yep.
It can't be that I'm wrong. It must be that Michael Chiklis is 140 years old.
Yep, and an Aztec.
All right. The question of the week. It revolves around suggestions that you guys wish you could have gotten in the past. We often talk about this. We have some lists that we keep of bad suggestions that were given during our improv shows. We have suggestions of the best responses that were given to a question. You guys have a list going of ones that you would like to get. I feel like the one that I always want to be repeated is, Jeremy had one a long time ago, that you always take the long way. And so Jeremy would be standing 4 feet away from me. And when I asked him for something or called him over, we were on a giant stage for that show. He would walk all the way to the back of the stage, all the way across the curtain, all the way back to the front, just to go a span of like 3 feet.
It was a lot of fun. It was a big stage too.
The stage is often helpful in these. I was thinking the other day, Mike got one. You were Waldo. And it worked out perfect because on our stage there were stairways that went up to the balcony, and you could go hide on the stairways and be Where's Waldo.
I think I went even up to the side balcony there. I regret I did not go into the audience. We don't usually go into the audience.
Yeah,
but it would have been a good opportunity.
Wearing a striped shirt, we might not have found you.
That's true.
I think that was a good move.
It would have been too hard.
So what's on the list?
That was pretty fantastic.
What's on the list of suggestions that you would like to receive from the audience?
I have a notes on my phone called Improv Suggestion Wish List. So
like
maybe
it's
Santa
a thing
will
on Amazon or a wedding registry.
So someday when we're able to leave our homes again and go do another improv show, if you find yourself at a 3-2-1 improv show, here would be some great things to shout out. They would get you on Mike's good list.
This isn't cheating at all.
A seeing eye dog. Because it would be, Carl, you're the party host, right? So everything, it would be like your seeing eye dog.
Oh, you'd be my seeing eye dog.
Yes, your seeing eye dog. Narrate your life. I don't know. Let's see. That could either be narrate Carl's life or narrate your own life.
That would be great.
We had something fairly close to that. Jeremy was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I narrate everything that I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was great.
So, can you explain how you entered the room? So I'm throwing a party. You guys normally ring a doorbell to come into the house. Jeremy shows up as the Terminator.
Right.
What happened?
Normally I walk up and we push a doorbell and we go ding dong, and I think I did that, but then I immediately just backed up and like kicked down the door, and I go, I kicked down the door, and I just walk in with my gun.
As if we didn't know what you did.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
The other one I thought of when Mike mentioned the seeing eye dog. Do you remember there was one time when Jeremy was in love with my lamp?
See, that was amazing. I loved that.
You came in and you were all nervous because I was like your girlfriend's dad.
Yeah, I was going on a date with your lamp, and I'm like, hello, sir. And
I don't know how the seeing eye dog reminded you of that, but that is a good story.
I said that she lights up my life. Classy.
Oh, man. Also on my wish list is you think you're on a game show.
You can play that a number of ways.
That'd be a good time.
There's a lot of potential there. Also, you break the fourth wall, so you can literally break the wall. Not literally, there's not literally a wall there, but then like interact with the audience and give them
right during the scene.
In the middle of the scene.
We kind of do that often.
We do it all the time, but make a big deal of it.
People who are like pure like theater improv people don't appreciate the fact that we break a lot of the rules. We often walk through things, talk to the audience, step out of character. Not supposed to do those things, but we can't.
The audience a lot of times will try and do that as well, because it'll be like, you get scared every time somebody claps or something like that, and then the audience will start being like, I'm like, you're not supposed to be technically in the scene, but
sure, why not? Oh, we talked about Jeremy and I working together to be Carl's shoulder devil and shoulder angel.
Yes.
Oh, that would be great. Both of you just standing behind me with your head right there on my shoulder.
Yep.
Trying to get you to do the right
Telling
and wrong
you to do
thing.
good things.
Jeremy would obviously be the devil,
Well, no doubt.
right? You wouldn't even enjoy the other role. Right? If somebody said, you guys are the two voices on Carl's shoulders, Jeremy, you're going to be the good guy, Mike will be the bad guy. Jeremy, we're like, no, I veto that idea.
I probably midway during the scene, I'd be like, no, that guy sounds right. Let's go do that.
You should just listen to him.
The last one on my list is a backup coach. Remember in football how some coaches have a backup coach that just like pushes them back away from the sidelines?
Yeah, the guy that he tries to keep everybody off the field because the coaches they tend to drift out, and he's the guy that's trying to keep everybody back.
Because they get a penalty if they're on the field, right?
Yeah.
I thought you meant like if your coach gets injured,
You're the backup.
you have a second string coach.
It's probably that too. No, it's to physically make coaches back up.
I think they might call is it called the get back coach?
Ooh, is it get back coach? Oh, probably. I need to adjust because backup coaches definitely if they get injured.
Yeah.
He's
and then
like
there's
the
a
only
holla back
guy-
coach.
Get back coach.
He's the only guy that's allowed to like grab the head coach by the belt and pull him back. Anybody else would get fired for that. But
Is
that's
that
his
literally
job.
his only job?
I mean, I'm sure he has other jobs on non-game days,
Uh,
but on game day, that's his job. He's probably like.
I was like, I'll get hired for that.
Some of them are pretty buff, so they're probably like the strength and conditioning coach or something.
Oh yeah,
Somebody big enough to move people around.
Fair enough.
that'd be great. So that'll be me in Party Quirks. That'd be great.
Nice. You have any
You know,
others
we
on your
were-
list there, Mike?
No, those are
Pretty good.
it's so frustrating sometimes because I'll just throughout the day think of, oh man, that'd be such a good party quirk, and I don't put it in my list. And
Or sometimes you get one that's close, and you'll be like, oh, if they would have just done this, it would have been even better. Yeah.
I know we were like having trouble coming up with content during this time, so I thought of an idea that we could
For
do
that podcast?
for the podcast. Yeah. So
Boy.
like Jazzy Jeremy could make an appearance and just like read 80s lyrics.
like in
Well,
Party Quirks, or like
No, just
Right
now on the podcast.
Jazzy Jeremy has made appearances before. One time we showed up to record the podcast, and you started without us, and it was a. Can you give us the Jazzy Jeremy podcast introduction?
Well, yeah, it was like, welcome to the 321 podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about our adventures in upstate New York with Carl, Mike, and Jeremy.
And then we walked in, and you were like, "Oh, you guys are here."
Oh,
and
hey, I didn't realize you guys were.
caught you in the act.
Yeah.
So now you've got a new segment.
Yeah,
Jazzy Jeremy reads what?
like 80s lyrics.
Okay, let's hear how that goes.
Yeah.
No.
well,
Wait, let me give
hold
you
on.
an
Let me set
introduction.
the mood.
oh,
You got background music?
No.
We're going black and white.
We're going black and white. This is again. Sorry, podcast people. We're doing some video
So
stuff
much
right now.
exclusive content
It's
here.
exclusive
for video.
content.
Today on the 321 podcast, Jazzy Jeremy reads 80s lyrics.
Never gonna give you up. I'm never gonna let you down. Never gonna turn around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye.
Oh no, I can't do it.
Never gonna tell a lie
No.
and hurt you.
Oh, I thought Mike left.
But
I heard Mike say I can't do it, and I looked up and he was gone. I thought he just left.
There you go.
That's definitely a segment.
I'm looking forward to Gresham tomorrow now.
What a-
After that,
Wow, what a note to end on. I mean, I guess that's all the time we have for this week. If you're still here after Jazzy Jeremy, thank you for listening. We are 321 Improv, three Christian guys combined into one ministry, all to bring glory to the one who makes it all possible. Be sure to keep up with us on social media at 321 Improv. If you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, this will be posted on Facebook and YouTube tonight at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. Is that right?
Yes.
Premiere event. So check it
Jeremy
out.
changed his screen name to Jazzy Jeremy.
Somebody gave me this. I want to share this Bible verse with you. Somebody read this to me the other day. It's so appropriate for where we're at right now in our world. I just wanted to share this before we go. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 17 and 18. For this light momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal. I just think that's a good encouragement. So often we're focused on the things that we can see that are just temporary. We talk a lot about that during our show, that happiness is temporary, true joy in a relationship with Jesus is eternal. And so we hope and pray that all of you are safe and with your families and enjoying getting to know each other even better with all of your time together. So thanks for joining us here on the podcast. We'll be here every week. We'd love for you to listen and or watch. I guess you could do both if you want to be an overachiever.
Yeah.
Right? There's no rules against it. So we will talk to you again next week. This podcast ends in 3, 2, 1. Mike messed up the counting.
All righty.
So this
we're
is where
still recording video.
You drop off the audio people and you let the video podcast people stick around to watch.
I mean, they've waited long enough. These people.
It's true. We got to make up for lost time. They've only had audio for so long.
There's that. It happened for a second in the middle of the podcast where it got really loud again.
Yeah.
I saw Jeremy responded a little bit. He's kind of jumped back.
Yeah. It happened for like one word earlier in the podcast, and then just now it was like they waited for so long. It was
that's an intentional effect.
You'll have to go back and watch the video so you can see.
Excellent.
All right. This is the part of the podcast where I send Jeremy notes on the things that we talked about. Keep in mind, Jeremy, on the notes, the Jazzy Jeremy segment is not on here since that was a surprise. So you're going to need to add that into the notes yourself.
I mean, it needs to be in the title so that people know.
It's the hook.
It's the hook. People will be like, totally listening to that podcast. Good content right here.
Good content.
All right. Turn off the video.
And
bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week. Thanks for listening or watching or whatever we call this.